The Salem Witch Trial and Execution. In the winter of 1692, a small, isolated village in Massachusetts became the center of the most terrifying witchcraft panic in American history. 19 people were hanged, one was crushed to death, hundreds were accused, and all of it began with 2 girls, a story, and a lie that spiraled beyond control. We're reopening America's oldest cold case, the Salem Witch Trials, a chain of accusations, coerced confessions, psychological terror, and executions, all fueled by a crime that never existed. Welcome to Historic Crimes, where you get the true story of events that have happened in the past which helped shape the history of the world that we are living in. Before we begin, please click the subscribe button below so you will get more from us. Now relax and enjoy. Causes that led to the executions of the Salem Witch. The executions at Salem in 1692 did not happen because of one single event. They were the result of social tension, religious fear, political instability, personal conflicts, and psychological anger blending into one explosive crisis. Below is a deep breakdown of the major causes. Puritan religious beliefs and fear of the devil. They believed the world was a battlefield between God and Satan. To them, the devil was real, witchcraft was the devil's tool, and any misfortune could be an act of Satan. This belief made any strange behavior appear as evil supernatural activity. Because Puritan law was based on the Bible, witchcraft was considered a capital crime. This set the stage for people to accept executions as necessary for spiritual safety. A community already in crisis, fear plus stress. Before the accusations began, the people of Salem were suffering from extreme stress. War with native tribes on the frontier, constant attacks on New England settlements caused fear and trauma. Refugees flooded Salem, bringing horror stories and tension. Harsh winter and poor harvests, food insecurity, crop failures made people desperate and willing to look for supernatural blame. Smallpox outbreaks, disease was interpreted as divine punishment or witchcraft. A population under pressure is more likely to panic and find scapegoats. Social divisions within Salem Village. Salem was split into 2 rival groups. The Putnam family faction, poorer farmers, wanted to keep Salem Village independent from Salem town. The Porter family faction, wealthier merchants, supported closer ties with Salem town. These factions fought over church leadership, political control, economic power. Accusations of witchcraft followed these social lines. Many who were executed were aligned with the wrong side of local politics. Gender expectations and misogyny. More than 75% of those accused were women. Why? In Puritan culture, women were expected to be silent, obedient, submissive. Women who didn't fit this mold were considered dangerous. The women most often accused were outspoken, economically independent, widows with land, women who challenged male authority. They became easy targets. Once accused, their gender made them seem guilty by default. Personal grudges and family feuds. Many accusations were rooted in revenge and resentment, including land disputes, inheritance battles, old neighbor conflicts, and economic jealousy. For example, the Putnams accused multiple people with whom they had long-standing property disagreements. The witch trials became a tool to destroy enemies legally. The strange behavior of the young girls. In January 1692, young girls in the Paris household began displaying disturbing symptoms: screaming, convulsions, hallucinations, and violent fits. Doctors could not find a physical cause and declared it the evil hand. This medical conclusion turned the situation into a spiritual crisis, not a medical one. Once the girls began accusing people, the community panicked. Acceptance of spectral evidence. This may be the single most important reason people were executed. The court allowed spectral evidence testimony that a person's spirit or ghost had appeared to the accuser. This meant no physical evidence was required. Dreams, visions, and unseen forces counted as proof. Accusers' imagination became legal fact. With spectral evidence, innocent people could not defend themselves, and the court had no reliable standard. Weak and newly re-established government. Massachusetts had just gotten a new governor and charter after a political crisis. The legal system was unstable and poorly organized. Governor Phipps created a special court, oyer interminer, where evidence rules were unclear, judges were inexperienced, trials moved too fast, spectral evidence was accepted. Political instability created a legal environment ripe for injustice. Ministers encouraging the hunt, indirectly although some ministers warned against panic, early sermons about resisting Satan and purifying the community fueled fear. Cotton Mather, a respected minister, preached strongly about invisible satanic threats, which unintentionally encouraged the public to believe witches were everywhere. The spiral of fear and mass anger. Once a few people were accused, a chain reaction began. The girls accused someone, that person, to save themselves, accused others, the number of accused exploded, confessions became currency for survival. The community believed a large satanic conspiracy was unfolding. Panic made every suspicious behavior appear demonic. Confession-based survival. Those who confessed were spared and those who refused were executed. This created incentive to lie, pressure to accuse others, rapid expansion of the witch network. The only innocent person was the one who confessed to being guilty, which created impossible moral dilemmas. The court's desire to prove its authority. Authorities wanted to show they were in control. Executing witches demonstrated strong leadership, obedience to God, a promise of order in chaotic times. This pressure pushed the court toward harsh sentences. What do you think about the causes they used to determine the trial and execution? Was it mob justice? Drop your comment. The execution hill, in the summer of 1692. 14 women, 5 men, and even a loyal minister were dragged to this hill in Salem, Massachusetts, and hanged as witches. They weren't monsters, they weren't spellcasters, they were victims of fear, lies, and of a community tearing itself apart. The first victims. It starts in the home of Reverend Samuel Parris. 2 young girls, Betty Parris, 9, and Abigail Williams, 11, began to scream, contort, and convulse. Witnesses report violent fits, sudden paralysis, biting sensations, visions of shadowy figures. No doctor can explain it. Finally, one physician gives the diagnosis that will damn an entire town: this is the work of the evil hand. Witchcraft. Within days, the affliction spread to more girls. The community is terrified, someone must be blamed. The first suspects. The frightened girls name 3 women, 3 easy targets. Tituba, an enslaved Caribbean woman. Sarah Good, a homeless beggar. Sarah Osborne, sick, elderly, rarely at church. These women had one thing in common: they didn't fit Puritan society's mold. When interrogations begin, they're not interviews. They are forced, aggressive, and relentless. Under pressure, Tituba breaks. She confesses, and what she said detonates the town like a bomb. Tituba's confession. She claims, witches are in Salem, the devil is recruiting followers, a witch conspiracy is spreading, a book holds the names of others who have already signed with Satan. This confession, whether beaten out of her or invented to survive, does something devastating. It transforms a medical mystery into a criminal conspiracy. Suddenly, everyone becomes a suspect. Investigation or witch hunt. Accusations turn into a flood. Neighbors turn on neighbors, families turn on families, old grudges resurface. Land disputes suddenly become witchcraft offenses. Rivalries explode into deadly blame. But here's the twisted part: those who confessed lived. Those who refused died. This system rewards lies and punishes innocence. The Court of Oyer Interminer. A special court was created, the Court of Oyer Interminer. The trials are chaotic, part courtroom, part theater. The afflicted girls collapse dramatically. They scream that spirits are attacking them. They claim to see invisible claws. They cry that the accused fly around the room, and the judges accept this as evidence. This is no longer justice. It's panic wearing a judge's robe. The executions begin. June 10, 1692. Bridget Bishop was the first to die. Her crime? Wearing black clothing, having an argument, and being disliked. On July 19, another 5 was executed, including Rebecca Nurse, a respected grandmother with a spotless record. Witnesses later report, the girl's afflictions stopped the moment she was hanged. On August 19, George Burroughs, a former minister. He recited the Lord's Prayer perfectly on the gallows, something witches were believed unable to do. The crowd is shaken. But the execution continues anyway. The most brutal death, Giles Corey, who refused to plead guilty. Refused to say a word. By law, he can't be tried unless he enters a plea. So the court chooses a punishment rarely seen, pressing. They place massive stones on his chest, one by one, slowly, crushing the breath from his body. For 2 full days, they demand he confess. His only response, more weight. He dies defiantly to the end. The panic collapses. By autumn, something shifts. The accusers go too far. They accuse respected citizens, wealthy landowners, even the governor's wife. Suddenly the powerful question the trials. The court is dissolved, the remaining prisoners are set free, and the hangings stop. Just like that, the panic ends. The aftermath: 20 innocent people are dead, 4 others died in prison, families are ruined, reputations destroyed. Years later, judges confess their guilt, accusers, now adults, issue apologies, the colony admits the trials were unlawful, and Salem tries, slowly, painfully, to heal. But the truth remains: this was a crime. Not committed by witches, but by fear, power, and collective panic. A crime committed by a community against itself. The Salem witch trials weren't about magic. They were about mass panic, unchecked accusations, and a justice system poisoned by fear. A reminder that the real danger is never witches. It's what people become when fear rules their judgment. The executions happened because religion encouraged fear of invisible evil, society was stressed by war, disease, and division, personal grudges fueled accusations. The legal system accepted supernatural evidence. The government was weak and panicked, anger overpowered reason. It was a perfect storm of fear, belief, conflict, and desperation. What do you think could have been the best way to bring justice to the accused, since they are not guilty and were killed? Help us to do more video by clicking the subscribe button. Thank you.